Okay. So we're back, and we're texturing now. And here we have the Exo-2 power armor from Unoctium and Dogtooth. And I will be texturing it today and making a Brotherhood Outcast paint job for it. Which is perfect for me, because one of the few mods that I've released for Fallout 4 is the Outcast paint job platform, which I was planning on doing a paint job for this anyway. But now I'm actually going to be doing it for the guys who made the thing in the first place. So let's see. That doesn't look good. Just because I'm at 1K, let's bump it up to 2K, see how that turns. That looks a little bit better, but not by much. Let's try the... So one of the things that I like about the Brotherhood Outcast armor is that the armor usually looks... Yes! I did, I had started to do an Outcast texture for the Exo-2. It was one of the last things I was working on whenever I was wanting to do the, whenever I was wanting to update my Outcast paint job platform, which I still might plan on doing in the future. You know, you never know, really. But I was wanting to start with this just because doing the trippy hippie thing, I want to have a better understanding of the armor because I haven't worked with the Exo-2 texture-wise very much, and it's been a while since I have. So I figured making an Outcast paint job for it, yeah, it would be a good way for me to like get used to it again. And like I said, I was going to give you 2 textures at the very least, and this was going to be one of them because I remember you asked me to do an Outcast texture for, I think it was the T49 before, so which I still plan on doing. Just as you know, my life's been a little bit hectic recently. I also wasn't sure if you were alright with me streaming, creating the hippie one. So I remember you said that I could talk about it, but I wasn't sure if you'd want me to stream it or if you want that to be a surprise for people. And I was gonna try to talk to you about that. Oh, okay, yeah, then, yeah, one of the next things I'm gonna be working on, because I'm gonna be texturing this for a good bit, is I'm gonna be doing a I'm going to be going back and working on this, and I'm going to be doing a kind of like 60s and 70s flower child hippie power armor texture for the XO2. And I might be doing a couple of variations of it as well. I haven't really quite decided on that just yet, but I have a couple ideas in mind for it in general. That might be a lot cooler than just doing, just like a, think of like a Volkswagen, like the kind of hippie vans that you would see, back in the day. So a very like Mystery Machine like. I'm gonna be doing something like that with the power armor, but I have some like specialized versions that I'm kind of playing around with in my head that might be pretty cool to do. Ah, Dogtooth, you bastard. Alright, so I'm gonna have to texture, I'm gonna have to like erase that separately. So is the mod back? No. I'm not working on that anymore, for tonight, I mean. But, essentially, what was going on with the Capital Wasteland thing is I'm working on it of my own free will. Free will, like somebody was forcing me to do it before. To kind of get used to, I was doing it as a hobby. I like building things, and I liked recreating locations from Fallout 3 even before the Capital Wasteland was or not necessarily before it was a project, but before I joined the project. And I wanted to keep doing that. So it's not necessarily back. There's always a chance that it could come back in the future. Don't hold me to that. But it's possible. But it's don't take that as a confirmation from me. Yeah, but at the very least, if that is something that you're still interested in watching and stuff like that, I am kind of working on it on my own. Just like I said, it's kind of as a hobby. It's not, there's no real intention of releasing anything necessarily. At least for the time being. Alright, I'm actually gonna have to go through my files real quick and see if I can find the original Brotherhood Outcast textures. I know I've got them somewhere on my desktop. What 3D modeling program is that? This is not a 3D modeling program necessarily. It's just a texturing program. It's essentially the same thing as using Photoshop. The only difference is that it allows you to paint directly onto the 3D model as opposed to trying to paint onto a 2D UV texture. So you get a much better idea of what it's going to look like once you put it in a game before you put it in a game. It's really cool, and it's called Substance Painter. I'm using the 2017 version. It's not the newest version, unfortunately, but you know I'm broke and poor, so I'm probably never going to get the newest version. But this one still works just fine. Okay. I have to sort through a lot of different things over here, and I'm doing it on my other monitor, so the main monitor that you guys are looking at might not change for a second while I try to find the textures for the Outcast, the original Outcast textures from Fallout 3. Because I do try to color pick, so that way I can try to make sure that the the colors are exactly as they were in Fallout 3, but of course that might still look differently in Fallout 4 because of the different lighting engine and the different materials that you have access to with the creation engine as opposed to the Gamebryo engine that Fallout 3 was made in. Oh, God, I swear to God, if I don't have it somewhere around here, I'm going to be very angry with myself. No, this is all Skyrim shit. God damn it. I may have to go through and like just pull them out like while I'm on stream. Hopefully the Bethesda Archive Extractor will open. You gonna open? Oh, it did. I have a lot of issues with this program not opening up. So the Bethesda Archive Extractor, or BAE, is exactly what it sounds like. It extracts things from the proprietary archives that Bethesda uses. I don't need to be in Fallout 4. I need to be in Fallout 3, Game of the Year edition. So you can use this program to go in and get the meshes, the textures, the sounds even from the base game for use elsewhere. Alright, Power Armor, Outcast, Power Armor. I want the Diffuse and the Decal. That should be all I need. Extract that to the desktop. So that created some shit on my desktop that I should now be able to go and pull up in Photoshop. Because like one thing that's easy to remember and or forget is that the Outcast Power Armor, a lot of people think it's just black and red, but the red is actually not red, which is why you can kind of see I was trying to do like a scarlet or orange color, but I can't remember exactly what it is. So I'm gonna pull it up so that way I can get the hexadecimal, or so I can color pick. Because unlike a lot of programs that have a color picking option, Substance Painter actually lets you pick colors outside of the program. So if I wanted to, like, I can pull this over here and pick the blue that's on the Photoshop icon, or I can get the purple, which is on the Twitch symbol next to Titan Roboduck's name on my chat, which is really convenient. There we go. So this is actually the original, this is the texture for the Outcast Power Armor in Fallout 3. And we're just going to choose like a solid block of color, because of course there's like minor variations, so we want to choose a spot that has a lot of paint on it. Like I'm going to be using this section right here. You can see how there's like very minor variations throughout. And I'm going to choose one of those spots. Whoop. Okay, I'll have to pull it up on my other monitor here. Hold on. There we go. So that's the perfect color for it, supposedly. Now, minimize that so I can potentially use it later if I need to. Now I'm going to put a black mask over it. And now, wherever I paint white on this black mask, let's use the dirt brush, which is one of my personal favorite brushes here in this program. Make it look a little bit more caustic. And I'll probably need to play with the settings too, so that way it's not fucking up too much, especially the position jitter. And I am using a graphics tablet along with this too. I'm not doing this with a mouse. But, so there. Now I can just paint the paint back onto it. Now, of course, you'll notice, I'll try to bring this up real quick. Let's see. Fallout 3 Outcast Power Armor. Bring up a picture of that real quick. Let's see. Do you know that legal issue with the voice acting? Why do you guys make like Tale 2 Wastelands where you need to have a copy of Fallout 3 plus DLC to use it? We already had it set to where you're supposed to have a copy of Fallout 3 and DLC to use it. But we actually asked Bethesda specifically if doing something like that was alright, where we technically stream the audio files from the Fallout 3 folder over to Fallout 4, and Bethesda specifically was like, nah, probably not. Probably not a good idea. But anyway, so, the way the Outcasts paint their armors is very unique. You know, they don't just like cover it completely in red or anything like that. They kind of paint stripes of varying sizes, so we're going to try to copy that kind of look to it, to where it's going to be very asymmetrical. So I'm going to be keeping this up on like the other monitor as well. And even though, let's see, I'm probably going to go ahead and erase all this actually, what I just placed down, and I'm going to try to keep it with how the Outcast does it in Fallout 3, where they tend to be very right, like left-centric actually. So a lot of this paint that I'm going to be placing down is going to be thicker on the left side than it is on the right side. And I will also be going back and erasing out parts of this too, so that way it doesn't look like it's freshly painted. I'm going to add like wear to the edges of it. But for right now, I'm just wanting to mark out where, for the most part, I want the paint to be. So over here, instead of having a stripe going straight down right here, I'm actually going to want to follow the curvature of the breastplate. And I'm going to have a line that goes down right through here. God damn it, hold on. I just lost the image for a second. And now on the middle section, it's very worn away, but the T-45 armor is, the abdomen section is sectioned out a lot more than the XO2 is, but I still want to try to copy the general look that it has. So essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to act like there's two sides here, right? Like you can kind of see how there's a line right up through here. I want to try to keep that middle section untouched and have these two stripes going down the sides, which is very, very worn away in the T-45 version in the original, and I'll probably be doing that myself as well, but it's worn down to the point that you barely even notice it. And then on the crotch, they kind of have the same thing going on, where there's like a solid, for the most part, like a solid stripe that like goes down one side, like the left side of it. So we'll just paint this entire left section of it, like so. And then over here, we're gonna just go follow the kind of like seam that they've got going on here. Give it a little bit of a curve. And yeah, I guess I'll probably paint this area too as well. And even though I said it will be mostly asymmetrical, I'm going to do the same thing with the other side, just because I think that'll look nice. It'll kind of balance out the fact that the right breastplate has like nothing on it, essentially. And sometimes I do kind of like, I'm not trying to say I'm as good as him or anything, but I do sometimes feel like the Bob Ross of texturing, just because I'm like commenting how I go about my thought process with a lot of this. So weirdly enough, even the backside is still oriented to the, like when you're looking at it, it's oriented to the right. So even though this is the left side, and on the front, the left side is what is mostly covered up, on the back side, it's the right side that's got a much heavier amount of paint work done. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Wait, am I alive? Okay, God, thank God I am alive. I was really worried that I didn't transition my screens again, because I have a bad habit of doing that. Yeah, so like, after I'm done with this, which I'm doing this for Unoctium, but aside from the XO2, I actually did get permission from quite a few other Power Armor mod authors to make Outcast paint jobs for their Power Armors as well. So I may still go and redo my Outcast paint job platform mod, very much in the same style as what you're seeing here. But of course, I would be doing the vanilla Power Armors first. I would like to do the combat armor again, and maybe even work around with the combat armor that the Fallout 4 New Vegas team had created and released. At least I think it's still released. I remember it had some like major bugs when it released, so I think they pulled it down, but I don't remember if that was temporary or if it just stayed down. See, I might actually try to add a little bit of height to this paint to make it look like it's not just discoloration on the same layer as the like the greenish blue, like the dark greenish blue paint that it's on top of. Because paint, especially like acrylic paint or like metal paints that they would likely have used to paint these with, very thick. Like you can actually see the layers when painters do layer acrylics on top of each other. So I might need to try to emulate that, which it shouldn't be hard. I don't know if there's like already a height map for that on the base. Let's try it out. Let's pop that up just a little bit. Yeah, like that. There we go. So now you can see that it's actually, when you zoom in, you can actually see that it's on top of the other paint instead of being blended into it. So, Dogtooth, whenever he created this power armor, I couldn't tell you that this is exactly what his thought process was, but I think he was wanting to make it look a lot smoother compared to the kind of like angular nature of the T-45 and the T-60 that's in Fallout 4. So there's a lot of curved areas, and there aren't a whole lot of hard lines on it, and so with the power of paint jobs, I can actually kind of like accentuate where there probably would likely be hard lines if that was part of the design process. Like this section right here, you're separating the curved part of this backpack, which holds the, I guess like some kind of fuel for it. It's on the T-45 and it's on the power armors in Fallout 4 as well, from this framework section that's right over here, where it's like all riveted to keep it held together. One thing I do like, though, is that unlike Bethesda, Dogtooth refrains from using a lot of repeated texture, like, or it's kind of hard to explain, but like there are a lot of times where like Bethesda would take the triangles from like this section right here where I just painted on, and they would copy and layer the UVs on top of each other, so that way the other side right here would literally be the exact same thing. So like on a Bethesda texture, if I painted this, it would paint on the other side as well. But Unoctium likes to make sure, or not Unoctium, Dogtooth likes to make sure that all of his power armors are mostly unique to each other. So you don't have a lot of that overlapping, all of that overlapping UVs, and you can actually make sure that each part of the power armor is unique compared to the rest of the power armor. Now, of course, I'm not saying that like what Bethesda does is bad or lazy or anything like that. If anything, it's actually really smart for them to do that, because like it's very minor how it affects the game, but it does help out with the optimization for the game and the overall workflow, just ever so slightly. But whenever you do a lot of things ever so slightly, eventually that all piles together and becomes like a lot. Like it's like leaving a faucet on overnight, like on drip. Eventually, when you come back, if there's a stopper in the sink, it will be full by the time you wake up, because it all pulls together eventually. Like the split in the middle of the model. Yes, actually, you'll see that a lot on Bethesda textures, where there'll be like a split, and you can clearly see that both sides are mirrored. That is a very, very good observation, Titan Robo. And I've had to deal with that a lot. Like that kind of thing can get really annoying whenever you're trying to retexture Bethesda's models. Like, I know the vault shelves in Fallout 4, at the very least, I don't know if it was the same way in Fallout, or in Fallout 4, the vault shelves are split directly down the middle. And it's frustrating. Because it's fine whenever it's a clean texture, like, because there's not a whole lot of wear and tear on it, and it's all very smooth, and it can be like a pretty solid color with no variation. But I was trying to retexture the vault shelves to be rusty, and whenever you start adding in that detail, it becomes a lot more obvious whenever it's repeated, because you have like the same circle like 2 inches from each other, and it's annoying. to say the least. Welcome to the stream, Commander Video. I'm using Substance Painter by Allegorithmic. I'm pretty sure it's Allegorithmic. Not to be confused with the Eurythmics, which is an 80s pop band, well known for the song Sweet Dreams, which was later popularized even further by Marilyn Manson, and the movie Sucker Punch.
Among other things.
Among other things. It's a good song. I like both versions. I really like the fast-paced, like, original version by the Eurythmics, personally. But, shit, who's the girl who re-sings it? Is it Emily Brown?
Emily Browning.
Browning, yeah. And she did re-sing it herself, didn't she?
Yep.
Yeah, her version, Emily Browning's version, that's in Sucker Punch is very beautiful. Like, that, you wouldn't expect that coming from an actress like her. That has been your daily music lesson with Siksiki.
Your daily bad music lesson.
Wasn't bad. I wasn't incorrect in any of my facts. It wasn't fake news.
What if it was, though, and you're lying? That's what the fake news does.
What if, in reality, I'm the person who recorded, like, I wrote Sweet Dreams?
Did you?
No.
Okay.
But what if? It's like a Marvel comic. What if? What if Marilyn Manson was Spider-Man? You guys can hear me, right? Oh, wait, yeah, I guess you can, because Titan was talking to me.
You're like waiting for people to laugh at your jokes even though they're bad.
Shut up, my jokes are great. I'm a goddamn comedian. Well, hey, Titan, whenever, like, I know not today, but in the near future, I do plan on doing some 3D modeling myself. On stream, so maybe I can help you out with that. Which you're in the Discords and everything, so I'm sure you know who Jundras Plunkett is, and he's the one who taught me how to do a lot of the 3D modeling that I know. And it'd be nice to be able to pass on his knowledge to somebody else. However I can, anyway, because I'm still a little bit rusty at 3D modeling because I was kind of in the groove for it a while back, and I kind of fell out of it at the same time recently. So there's a lot of like I've already forgotten more than I've learned, essentially. When would that be? I couldn't tell you, man. Like, my work schedule is really weird, in that I don't have a set schedule. You know, I figure out when I'm working the next week every Sunday. And it's really, like, I was able to stream in the evening today just because I was sick and I was able to stay home from work. But usually it's actually about this time right now that I would be able to stream on your average weekday. So I couldn't, like I said, I couldn't quite tell you when that'll be. Let's see, let's give some love to like these details right here. Oh, and I would also like to let you know that whenever I do anything 3D modeling wise, I'm using Maya. I know a lot of people use either Blender or 3ds Max, but Junders taught me how to do modeling in Maya, and now that's just what I prefer. I know a little bit about 3ds Max, but I don't remember enough about it to be able to like teach somebody else. Alright, so yeah, for the most part, I think this is where we're going to lay out the paint for the torso section. So now let's move on to the helmet, which I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste this layer so that way I don't have to worry about matching colors. I'm going to go to the helmet. And paste the layers there. Blender is a really weird program. We did have somebody on the team, Noldell, who he pretty much why is that not textured? Noldell used Blender himself, and he tried to teach me how to model with Blender, and it didn't quite click for me. But it is a good program for certain people. So let's clear the mask here on that paint, and let's go ahead and clear the mask here. So the helmet. Because there is a couple sections of this helmet that I don't want to get painted, but we're going to start by making sure it's all painted. Now we can go back and choose the sections that won't be. See, like, certain details like this right here, like these tubes, you could definitely mirror those and not have a problem with it. The same thing with the eyes too, for the most part. But it's really kind of up to whoever's texturing. Let's see, I'll probably do these as well, because I think those are supposed to be like bare metal, and I kind of like that look to it. I might go back and change my mind on some of these later on, but for now I'm kind of happy with what we got going on here. So let's go over here and let's start painting some more red. So let's see. Now, interestingly, as you can see here on the Outcast helmet, even though the torso is very left-centered, the helmet is right-centered. There's more paint on the right side than there is on the left. So we'll probably go ahead and continue on with that theme as well. So we're going to be working more over here on this side than over there on the left. Oh god, yeah, I couldn't imagine working on something as complicated as the Vertibird. Like, if I really like sat down and worked on it, I might be able to do something similar, but it would definitely not be like a usable, like, I wouldn't be able to like make it animated or anything like that, because that kind of stuff is beyond me. I could definitely make like a prop for it, but that's probably about it. WWE table. I like turtles. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Nice.
I made them. I made turtles. I didn't make snapping turtles though, that was Satan. still very much trying to evoke the same kind of feeling, that the same kind of look and asymmetrical feel that the Fallout 3 Outcast paint job, or the Outcast armor has. But it's, again, like I mentioned earlier, this armor is a lot more, like, curvier. There's a lot more curves. So it's a little hard to work around, because like with the T-45, there's a lot of angles, so it's very clear. It's a lot easier to pick and choose what you're going to decide to paint based on the sections available. But whenever things are curved and there's not like a whole lot of clear seams between sections, it's a lot harder to choose. I should have probably kept some of Peyton's texture work on here, just that way I could use certain aspects of it, like his ceramic texture for certain parts, and for sure his eye textures, because I'm bad with that kind of thing, unfortunately. So I may have to like restore part of this, or at least like Frankenstein them together in Photoshop once I'm done. Go for it. If you can take a, if you can like take a screenshot of it or something like that, and create an Imager link, it'll show up in the chat for everybody. I think. I'm pretty sure that's the best way to do it. Yes, sir, Spartan Bob S072. Aw, yeah, I guess the Imager links don't work right. Hold on. See, it's kind of, I'm not gonna lie, it's a little hard to like differentiate the details on a lot of what was in those screenshots, but from what I saw, it looked pretty good to me. I see. One thing I was really confused about is, like, maybe I'm, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but it kind of seems to me like vertibirds are smaller in Fallout 4 than they are in Fallout 3. Yeah, like, it seems like there's not a whole lot of, like, standing room or anything like that in them in Fallout 4.
In Fallout 3, it doesn't seem like they were built with that in mind.
No, in Fallout 4, they're smaller. Like, there's not a lot of standing room. Whereas in Fallout 3, there's an entire cutscene that takes place that has like 4 or 5 NPCs in a vertibird. The ending section for Broken Steel.
Oh yeah, you're right.
They're bigger, really? Ah, it's so weird. So I'm guessing a PC mod first, then Xbox One next. I'm actually not entirely sure, since I'm doing this texture for somebody else to implement, and it's his mod that he's doing. So I don't know if he posts his mods on Xbox or not. I know for sure, at the very least, he does post them on PC. Thank you, Julian, and welcome to the stream. Good to see you again. Yes, Unoctium. may or may not be lurking around in the chat still right now. But yeah, Unoctium and Dogtooth, they my boys. Good friends with them, have been for a while now. At least a year. Like Unoctium, it's been about a year, but for Dogtooth, I've been friends with him for years now. Because he was friends with my girlfriend.
Hello.
Who is currently playing Fallout 4. And believe it or not, has none of our friend Dogtooth's mods installed.
Yeah, he sucks. I actually looked for them.
You'd have to look for Unoctium's files.
Oh, I was like, why can't I find these?
Dogtooth makes the armors and Unoctium implements them and uploads them.
Oh right, I forgot that Dogtooth is incredibly lazy.
Yes, this armor is released. But yes, I'm doing some armors for some paint jobs for, I guess, like a future update or something like that. I haven't really asked the details. All I know is that Unoctium has asked me to create some power armors. I didn't really, you know, bug him with questions or anything. I was just like, fuck yeah. That was an interesting character.
Hmm?
Some dude coming in talking about period juice.
Period juice?
Yeah, he's saying the paint for the Outcast power armor looks like period juice. Then he said something about eating period juice, so I just blocked him.
That sounds like something this guy had explicit knowledge of.
Well, you see, that's the funny thing, though, right? Like, it is a little weird thinking of, like, an Outcast, like a Brotherhood of Steel paint, like, Outcast paint job on an Enclave armor. But, if you think about it for a second, there are instances in which you can find the Enclave and the Outcast fighting in Fallout 3, and I actually believe that the Enclave probably wins those encounters 9 times out of 10. But it's not, I don't think it's unfair to say that the Outcasts would win at least once or twice, depending. Especially since they spawn with fucking sentry bots and shit sometimes. So maybe the Outcasts got their hands on some XO2 and XO3 power armor. It doesn't happen in the game, of course, but you know, it could. It's feasible. And, like, the Outcasts would never say no to, like, power armor that's created post-war either. That's new advanced technology. Hey there, Ethan. Ethan, what the fuck are you doing up? Is it a school day for you? It's like 1:15 a.m., bro.
Isn't he, like, West Coast?
Oh, yeah. I guess so. Huh. Interesting. Wow, they are a lot bigger. I don't know, that scale seems a little bit off. That kind of just seems like they took the models and put them next to each other, which is not a correct way of scaling things. Because, like, I know in Fallout 4, one of the few models that is very similar is the basic sedan. They're one of the most similar models in the game. In fact, I know that I know a couple of the models that are actually reused from Fallout 3 directly. The only thing that's changed about them is they have a new texture, but the model itself is the exact same. And I believe the Fallout 4 versions are actually a little bit bigger, which implies that the overall scale on the game, like the units, are slightly different, at the very least, if not majorly different. So, there's some food for thought. No, I kind of think I might keep the horns. I might keep both horns like completely painted. I think I like the look of that a little bit better. Let's try it out. I can always just erase if I don't like it. You're a nerd. Well, yeah, see, the size usually, and I believe in most games, I'm not a game developer, so do not quote me on this, but I think your average human is what is most often used for reference in scaling objects in video games. But, like, what happens if this game uses a 6-foot character, right? Like this Fallout 3, let's say that uses a 6-foot character. But in Fallout 4, their 6-foot character, the model itself, is actually, like, if you put them side by side, it would technically be like maybe 1.5 feet taller, like bigger. Like at that point, the scale is out of whack. It's kind of like comparing Mario to humans in Odyssey. And how certain things change sizes, like Mario, for example. Like how he changes size compared to other objects between games. There is not a static height for Mario because it changes per game. And that means that everything has varying sizes, and there is no one true unit except in whichever game that you're talking about. Like, no matter what you say, even if 6 foot in Fallout 3 is different than 6 foot in Fallout 4, 6 foot is always 6 foot in Fallout 4, no matter what. Even if that 6 foot is different than the Fallout 3. That's getting into like math and stuff, and I suck at math, so it's kind of hard for me to talk about seriously. Because like I can picture all. That was my problem in school too. Is like with basic math and even certain forms of like more advanced math, like past, I guess, multiplication. I could picture the right answer in my head, like I know the answer, but then they'd be like, "Show your work," and I'd be like, "Fuck you! I thought it in my head. It's still a correct answer. I don't need to show my fucking work."
I'm not a part of your system.
There are certain games that let you choose your height. I know the Elder Scrolls MMO does. Elder Scrolls Online lets you choose your character's height. There are mods for Skyrim that let you choose your character's height, and it doesn't mess with the animations too much. But yes, that is one of the reasons why I could totally see game developers not giving you that option, is because that could fuck around with animations quite a bit. You know who else is from Odyssey? Cyclops. I actually don't remember. Oh, I guess it's Odysseus. I'm fucking stupid. I was gonna be like, I don't remember who the main character of the Odyssey is. It's Odysseus.
Congratulations.
Oh, god damn it, he posted a picture of Toad. You're not wrong.
It's National Toad Day. Come on.
Toad from Mario Kart.
From Mario Kart.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of the survival games, for some reason, will let you choose your character's height. It's an interesting thing. Because I'm pretty sure 7 Days to Die lets you choose your character height as well. And that's very much in the same vein as, like, Ark and Rust and
I thought 7 Days to... Oh, yeah, 7 Days to Die does let you make your own guy.
Yeah.
Forgot about that. Can you choose to just have a random body? I think you can just randomize.
Yeah, you can randomize. But I always like making Black Bob Ross. Yeah, you're not wrong there, Titan. That is a good point to bring up. Like, one thing that would actually be really helpful, right, is if every game had a ruler. Like a ruler object. Because then you could decide... It's like, okay, this is clearly a foot. So then you can measure everything else. But a lot of people would probably, like... That would... Like, people would bitch at Bethesda because they'd be like... doors are actually supposed to be 8 feet tall, and this door is 7.3 feet tall. Bethesda is stupid. Because that is some shit that people would do. Granted, that is also some shit that Bethesda would do. But, you know, it's neither here nor there. Okay, I'm kind of losing track of, hope this isn't, like, turning out ugly. For the most part, like, it's really solid and everything, of course, because, like, I haven't worn away at the edges and added variation to it yet. But I kind of like, I'm liking how this is turning out so far. I'm gonna go ahead and, like, match this side too. But yeah, no, like, for real though, there is, if anybody can open up the creation kit, or the Fallout 3, GECK, you can look for, I think it's called, like, Tire Stack 01 and 02, but those models are actually ripped directly from Fallout 3. They are the exact same model with updated textures. So that would potentially be a good way to try to figure the difference in scaling. Alright, now let's compare that along with the torso. There we go. I think that matches up pretty well for the most part. So let's add the arms into the mix. Which one's better, the Hellfire or normal Enclave helmet? That's actually a really good question. Fuck, give me just a second here. Let's see. Enclave Hellfire. see, I do really like all of the details that are on the that is actually a really tough question to answer. Let's see, where's the I forgot what the XO2 is actually called. It's not actually called the XO2. That's something that Unoctium kind of came up with. Or if it's called the XO2, maybe it's called the Mark II. Actually, I think it's called the Advanced Power Armor Mark II. That's what it is. See, it's a rough one for me because like they both have so much like good detail in them. I kind of like the. I think I would probably go with the Hellfire armor because it looks vaguely like a bear to me, with the smaller eyes set out to the sides and like the small little nubs at the top that kind of look like ears. Whereas the Mark II armor looks like, God, I don't know how to describe it. There's power armor that, or not power armor. There's like these characters from a Japanese anime that are like, I think they're supposed to be like Nazi-looking troops, and they burned down like a town or something. I have no idea what anime it's from. It could be an anime movie. It could be an anime series. But it reminds me too much of that.
So it reminds you of something, but you don't know what it reminds you of.
Yeah, because the only time I've ever seen it, like what I'm talking about, is in AMV Hell. So I don't know what anime it's from. Are you gonna do Riley's Rangers paint job next? I could do a Riley's Rangers paint job pretty easily. Like I could probably do that in like no time at all. But I'm not a big fan of Riley's Rangers, so I don't know if I'd really be able to bring myself to do it, just because I wouldn't really enjoy doing it. The Hellfire, yeah, both of them are awesome. And it's really cool, actually, now that I think about it. I didn't think about it, but the Brotherhood of Steel now has 3 power armors, three power armor types, and the Enclave has 3 power armor types, because they've got the XO1, the Mark II, and the Hellfire power armor, and the Brotherhood has the T-45, T-51, and T-60. And you could go further than that, and you could bring in the Midwestern power armor as well, but that's non-canon, technically. Do you think the Enclave will come back? I don't think so. It's entirely possible, because there's no telling how many, like presidential bunkers they had set up, like for important government officials across the U.S. Because I like to think that they probably had more than just the one in D.C. and the one in the fucking oil rig. But it all depends on what Bethesda wants to do, Let's see. Alright, so the arms are going to be a little bit tougher, because the arms are way different, and the arms are also mirrored, so this will actually be a good example of what I was talking about. Since they're perfectly mirrored, whenever I draw on this one, it draws on the other one too. So I can't really worry too much about asymmetry here. The arms are going to be symmetrical to each other no matter what. Yeah, those are more mods than anything, but they do both have they do both have the Tesla modification to it as well. Though you could argue that the Enclave has a much more unique Tesla, because like it's its own entity in New Vegas. Let's see. See, that's the interesting thing about that, right? Is that they actually can make their own power armor now, technically, because the Enclave made their own power armor after the war, using the, like, I don't know how the West Coast did, but it's explained that the East Coast version of the Enclave had, like, I guess, like, some sort of production facility at Adams Air Force Base. And Adams Air Force Base belongs to the Brotherhood of Steel now, following the events of Broken Steel. So, presumably, now the Brotherhood has the means. They sieged the means of production. But they chose to just manufacture more T-60, I guess, instead of creating new designs. Yes, there is construction power armor. I did notice that. I don't know if it's like actually construction power armor or if it's like a construction modification to existing power armor, because they haven't really shown like a good picture of it yet. I'd really need to get up close and see it to really understand whether it's like a brand new power armor or if it's just like modifications to an existing power armor. But it looks cool regardless. It gives me the kind of like Aliens vibe from Aliens when Ripley jumps up into that construction robot and beats the shit out of the Queen. Funny enough, I actually, God, I don't know where it would be, but I actually was working on a T-51 helmet mod that made it look like the tribal power armor that's on the cover for Fallout 2. Hey, what's up, Timotheus Maximus? If you were asked to bring back the Enclave, would you do it? I don't know, that kind of depends. Like, if you're asking me as a person, of course not. They're horrible people. But for gameplay, yes. Like, I always play evil characters. So, I'm all for the Enclave in-game.
What the hell? Good morning, Kate. Why is she on the roof?
Give her a fiddle. The Fallout 1. Oh, that kind of. Okay, I see what you're. I see what you're saying now. Yeah, it's a good question. I don't know why nobody's really made a power armor texture for, like, plenty of them have tried to make like the Enclave X01, like they try to remake it. They do make it too dark all the time. Like it doesn't look right. Like it's supposed to be more of like a slate gray. But people like try to make it almost like what color this is right here. The Institute, yeah, the Institute was supposed to have its own power armor. There is concept art for it. I actually have the Fallout 4 art book that has the concept art for it. And somebody, I believe, I don't remember who it was, but somebody actually did remake it. It kind of looks a lot like the Big Daddy from BioShock. Specifically, it looks like the BioShock 1 Big Daddy. I forgot what they're called. Bouncers, maybe? Is that what they're called?
I think so.
As opposed to like the more kind of like taller and more slender looking ones that you play as in BioShock 2. But it was not Unoctium and Dogtooth that made the Enclave power armor. It was somebody else. But they did a really good job at like faithfully recreating it. And I want to say that the main reason that they didn't go along with it in the first place, go along with the Enclave power armor, that is because the shape of it was like too awkward.
You mean the Institute?
Yeah, shit, sorry. I think the reason they didn't go with the Institute power armor is because the shape of it was too awkward to try to animate opening and closing. Whereas the all the other power armors, like from the T-45 up to the X-01, and even the Raider power armor, they use more or less the exact same animation for opening and closing. If you were allowed to bring in a new or existing power armor, which would it be? You know, it's actually really funny, because a long time ago, I had actually wanted to try to work with Dogtooth to create some brand new, unique power armors. And unfortunately, the only idea I had is apparently now being used for Fallout 76, presumably. Because I had an idea for a commercial power armor that was meant for construction, and I still have sketches for it somewhere. It looks way different than what Bethesda Austin has for 76 though. I also had an idea for a Liberty Prime power armor, but I just felt like that was too unoriginal, and somebody ended up making it anyway. Basically, just like dissecting different parts from the Liberty Prime model and trying to make it fit the power armor frame and animations. And then I think Newer Mind created the T-51C power armor, which I think they kind of renamed it, but it's supposed to be like an aviator style power armor. And they also, Newer Mind also recreated the Midwestern Brotherhood of Steel power armor as well. And those are actually both armors that I had permission to create a Outcast paint job for, if I ever do get around to redoing my Outcast paint job platform. Paint job is what I said. Paint job is what I meant. An Antagonizer power armor would be really cool, actually. Oh, I also wanted to try to make a power armor based on sentries too. But again, like, I don't have the skills for that, and like creating a power armor that takes time, you know. And I would want to be able to compensate Dogtooth for his time, because I mean it's a lot of work and a lot of effort that would go into it, and you know, I would want to make sure that he's rewarded for spending the time on it. Because I know I definitely wouldn't be able to make it myself. Yeah, I think somebody did recreate the Vault-Tec power armor. That was from Brotherhood of Steel. Which was an interesting idea, at the very least, considering the collaboration that there was between the United States military and Vault-Tec. You'd think that that's actually a really good idea, but instead, canon-wise, Bethesda decided that there would be a Vault-Tec paint job instead, which is apparently not, you know, too exclusive of a club to get into, considering there's not one but two paint jobs for Nuka-Cola in power armors. And then there's Vim, and Abraxo, and Sugar Bombs. Yeah, the green ring. That's Vim. Well, like, presumably, according to Bethesda, like, Fallout 1 and 2 are canon. But they still pick and choose details from Fallout 1 and 2 to completely, like, just shit on. And I say that because, like, it wouldn't be that hard to speak to fans of the series to try to make sure that your lore is correct. And whenever you're a company that prides yourself on making RPGs, creating these unique worlds and things like that, you think that you would try to get your lore correct, but guess not. I would love to have or make a mod that allows you to, in Fallout 4, actually, it would be a really good mod to make it to where you as a player could start a faction of the Brotherhood Outcasts. Essentially, anyway. Like, you can be the one to be like, you know what, I'm in the Brotherhood and I don't really like the Brotherhood. So, screw you guys. I'm gonna go and make my own Brotherhood. The combat power armor from Tumba Jumba, I don't think it's a unique model, though. And that's one thing that I don't like. I don't like it when people do that. I might be wrong. I would need to look at it again. But Tumba Jumba's combat power armor, I'm pretty sure is just like... They took the different parts of the combat armor in-game and modified it and twisted it around and into a vaguely power armor shape. And it's like, why? The Midwestern power armor is really weird for me because I do like it. I do definitely like it. But I feel like it's so aesthetically different from the rest of Fallout in general. And from what I understand, that was actually something that even the creators of Tactics said themselves. But they were like, well, we weren't sure it was going to work out, but Black Isle gave us the go-ahead, so we didn't complain. Yeah, it looks alright, but it's definitely not something that I want to have in my game. No offense to Tumba Jumba, who is a very talented modder. Like, what he did with that armor is not something that I would be able to do. But yeah, it's not my style. Why does the Midwestern look like the XO2? I think you've got that kind of backwards. I think I think the XO2 looks like the Midwestern because the Midwestern power armor came out first, and I think they used that as kind of an inspiration or a basis to create their own power armor whenever they were making Fallout 3, when they were conceptualizing it. Which, of course, was well within their rights to do. Great Plains Fallout game. Interesting. If you had a merc company, what would you name it? Dude, you can't just throw a question like that at me out of nowhere, man. Because that's a good fucking question. If I had a mercenary company, what would I name it? I mean, there's so many good ones, right? It's like, essentially a mercenary company is a private military company that does whatever the fuck it wants. Which one could argue that private military companies already do what the fuck they want. So like, there's so many good ones. Cause you got like Talon Company, that's a pretty good fucking name. In Metal Gear, you've got like Military Sans Frontiers and Diamond Dogs. Those are good ones too. You could argue that Riley's Rangers could be considered a mercenary group, though they're more a benevolent one, as opposed to Talon Company, which are just
They're
full
almost
of
like
dicks.
vigilantes, even.
Yeah, more like vigilante groups. Yeah, they're a post-apocalyptic Baka. Not even gonna respond to that. If I had a merc group, I would call it Pierre the God. Why? Because it seems kind of weird to call a group like a singular name.
Yeah, because it's almost like if you join somebody's mercenary group, like, you wouldn't want to go by their name. Be like, oh yeah.
Like, you want to make, like, if you're wanting to make a mercenary group, like, you gotta name it something that's, like, I don't want to say inclusive, but, like, you want to make it, it's gotta be something that people have to feel like they can belong to.
Yeah. So it'll be like, yeah, I'm a Diamond Dog. So, like, my mercenary group would be called the Big Dick Cool Guys, because that way everybody knows that you're a cool guy and you have a big dick.
Quit talking about my Xbox name, please.
Who doesn't want to be part of that group, right?
Why do they call you Dr. Rich? I've seen so many bugs in Bethesda games, they made me an entomologist. Okay, that's a good one. I'll
That's
give
a
you that
good
one.
joke. I like it.
But like, yeah, you want to call it something that everybody can belong to. Like, maybe not everybody would want to be a Pierre the God, because that's another thing. You gotta think about how it rolls off the tongue,
yeah,
and like
yeah.
how it's used in conversation. You know, like yeah, using Metal Gear Solid 5 as an example, you have the Diamond Dogs. Like, holy fuck, that sounds cool as shit. I want to be a Diamond Dog. That sounds awesome. And then, like, they've also got, like, Foxhound. That's a pretty cool one, but of course they give you code names in that one. But that's also not really a military group. It's more like a... Fuck, I don't even know what you would call it. Like a military unit, actually. In fact, that's exactly what it is, so it's not exactly the same thing. You know, you got shit like Bad Company. It's
Dude,
pretty good.
Bad Company.
Bad Company, that's
That makes me feel like I'm almost as cool as Big Dick Cool Guys.
Like, Bad Company was the name of a Battlefield game in which you play as the Bad Company, which are essentially... it's essentially like a military unit where they put soldiers in there because they suck. Like, they actually, like, they're shitty soldiers.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. But of course, I'm pretty sure they also named it after the song Bad Company by the band Bad Company, which is a fantastic song. The Executioners, you're definitely getting closer.
Dude, that sounds good. I would be an executioner.
Yeah, I honestly really don't know what I would call a military group, though, at the end of the day. Is that really a missing face in this?
I'm really
shit.
upset because I'm trying to put a door in one of the doorways in Sanctuary and it won't go. It's like, I know it's a doorway that fits this door.
I don't think all the doorways in like the base sanctuary will allow doors.
This one leads outside though. That's dumb. They're dumb. They'll put me a big concrete wall in front of it.
Enoctium says, go in Nifscope and copy connect points onto the Sanctuary House door frame. You can do it.
Yeah, except I have a secret. And the secret is, I'm stupid.
No, like I couldn't do that either. Like but yeah, there are a lot of soldiers that like to put the Punisher skull on a lot of things. I've seen that quite a bit. Elder Lions or Arthur Maxon. Yeah, the Punisher logo is like it's really strong design. Which of course I want to say that the popular Punisher logo that we all know and love is specifically from the Thomas Jane Punisher movie. Because before that, the Punisher logo didn't look nearly that cool. It was like the original one just literally looked like this. Like it was like very straight and circular, and it didn't look it didn't look great. But then the movie came out and that kind of popularized the Punisher logo that we all know and love today, that we see on like everything. And of course, like, to kind of give credence to that, there's like the Punisher logo that's in the Netflix TV series is different from that as well. I don't even think that Maxon is necessarily a loose cannon. Like the guy definitely is a fan of order, but I don't know. It's just like his attitude. I just can't stand it. I also hate his fucking haircut. I think he looks like a douchebag. He has a very punchable face. I would never actually punch him in the face because he would kill me. I wouldn't even be able to punch him in the face. He would kill me before I could. And I recognize that very well. But that doesn't change the fact that I still want to. I don't like his face. I just don't like his face. The coat is amazing. Yeah, that is really cool. Outcast time. Protector Kasdan or Protector McGraw? Fuck, I don't remember who's who there. Okay, so yeah, he's the main guy that like you give shit to. Honestly, I could probably say that I don't particularly care for either of them. Because that's another thing too, is that like, as much as I love the Outcast, of course I love them just because like their story is cool. Like the idea that they were like, we're the fucking Brotherhood and you're not the Brotherhood, Lions. And so they were like, fuck you, we're gonna go make our own brotherhood, blackjack and hookers and actual technology. But they're still shitty people, and Kasdan is a great example of that. He's like a fucking douchebag, and they talk down to you just as bad as the Enclave would. I think McGraw's a little bit more, like, I don't want to say kinder, but he's like a little bit more, like, nice to you just because you have a Pip-Boy that can get him into Anchorage, like the Anchorage vault or whatever. But I'm pretty sure he still has like a shitty attitude too. Henry Kasdan is half Chinese. Yeah, that is a weird thing. Bethesda is really weird about the way they mark things. Like, especially in Fallout 4, like, if you go through, there are tons of creatures or NPCs that are marked as, like, the bloatfly race. Like, I think there's a lot of super mutants that are classified as, like, the bloatfly class. And they have so many more classes that they could make use of. But they don't. It's all, like, generic, like, things that don't make any sense whatsoever. A friend of mine, if you've seen my show Brotherhood Redacted, the voice of Knight Michaels, who is a modder as well, by the name of Sephiroth or Sephiroth, I can't remember what he goes by on the Nexus. I think it's Sephiroth on the Nexus. He actually created a combat overhaul mod where he changed up a lot of that stuff. It'd be hilarious if Dr. Lee was white.
And then her name would be Dr. Lee with like 2 E's, right?
Well, they're talking about the fact that like apparently there's a lot of NPCs that are marked as Chinese race in Fallout 3. So it'd be funny if like, even though she is Chinese, that she was like marked as Caucasian.
Oh, I get it. I get it.
Operating system, and I knew there was an answer, but I couldn't remember what the answer was. Now I feel bad because he's not in the chat anymore. Wait, he wants to turn Tale of Two Wastelands into its own game with its own identity, like still be a Fallout mod, but like have its own like thing going on, or oh, Frank Corrigan, absolutely. I hate General Autumn and his stupid Southern dandy voice. Change the parts of Fallout 3 and New Vegas that he doesn't like. That's such a weird... That's not why people... Roy perplexes me. Wait, how is Tale of Two Wastelands not lore friendly? It can be lore friendly. It's just like it would be. It wouldn't be likely, like unlikely. Frank Corrigan was a really neat character. I really wish that he had a lot more like character development himself. Oh, okay. because I actually talked about the idea that Tale of Two Wastelands could be like a good basis for a story, like for a character, that your lone wanderer is your courier as well. Because I think after we Googled it a little bit, and we figured that like walking from DC to New Vegas would take like 3 months at a constant pace. So, and I believe Fallout 3 and Fallout 4 or Fallout New Vegas take place like 4 years apart. So you could actually have you could actually like theoretically have the character after Broken Steel walk across the US to New Vegas and still have like 2 or 3 years for them to do all of the things that the courier supposedly did leading up to getting shot in the head by Vinny. No, I'm not saying that you know, is what happens or anything like that, but I'm saying like it's a cool idea that is plausible though unlikely. Alright, so let's take a look at what all we got now. Hey. I think that looks pretty tight, but of course now we have to go through and make it to where like all of these lines are not quite so solid. See, if you were allowed to make a canon faction in Fallout 4, which would it be? I'm not entirely sure what you mean, like create a brand new faction. Huh. I would really like to revisit the Fallout 1 idea of, or Fallout 2 idea, I guess, actually, of intelligent Deathclaws. Like, I would like to see, like, a very, very, very small society of intelligent Deathclaws living together. Away from humans. And I'm not entirely sure what you mean with that question, all people. Would you play Fallout if you would sit in the middle of the U.S.? Like, are you talking about, like, the Midwest? Because if so, yes, I actually recently played Tactics. I didn't beat it, but I played it. Yeah, intelligent mole rats were a thing too. In fact, I think it's implied that King Rat and his brother were psychers, actually. Like, they were actually like psychic animals, but I can't remember if I read that or if it was like a theory or speculation that I had watched or read instead. It's really easy to get the two mixed up sometimes, especially whenever dealing with the really loose canon of Fallout 1 and 2 and all of the extra information that they gave with the Fallout Bible and various blog posts. If you were to make a Fallout game out of the US, where would it be? I don't know, because like they kind of already taken a lot of like the really good locations. I would still really like to see one set in Texas. though I feel like it would actually end up being somewhat similar to New Vegas. West Virginia is an interesting one because it's such a generic location. A lot of wilderness to it, and that could be a lot of locations. I suppose what I would really like to see from Fallout maybe would be something along the lines of what Fallout Miami is doing, like a very like a known like vacation area. Like it's in the same vein as like New Vegas, but like something coastal. Like I would actually like to see them explore more of the ocean this time, like it seems like they were going to do with Fallout 4. But yeah, the creatures in Fallout 76, I do also really like the idea of them. But you are right in that the entire point was of the creatures in Fallout 1 and 2 were to be kind of like a parody of like common, I guess, post-apocalyptic ideas for creatures, where they were just like weirdly mutated for some reason. But there is precedence already in the Fallout universe. No, maybe not so much in Fallout 1 and 2, but they did have differences between the FEV mutated creatures in Fallout 3 and New Vegas and the regularly irradiated creatures that somehow managed to stay alive and keep their mutations going in their genes. Like I think rad scorpions are a group like that. I don't think the rad scorpions are FEV mutations, but I could be wrong. Like Hawaii would be an interesting one. New York City, I would actually like to see that too. Like I would like to see an entire map that is just a city. I would like to see how that would challenge Bethesda. Because Boston was interesting, there just wasn't enough in Boston to keep me interested, unfortunately. And New Orleans, like Fallout Louisiana, I was super excited for that too. That rumor. But at the same time, like the FEV mutation thing kind of presents a problem because of the nature of FEV itself and how it's created and distributed, that it makes it almost implausible for certain like monsters and creatures to exist outside of certain areas, almost. So I can kind of understand that. And at the very least, with Fallout 76, they've also explained that the creatures having half-lives, and that being an explanation for why they don't exist later in the universe, that works, I think. Like, because of the fact that they don't exist later on, it works. If they were still, you know, Mothmen and Scorch Beasts in Fallout 4 and shit, like that would, I feel like that would be more indicative of a problem. Cazadors and snake coyotes were the result of gene splicing, actually. Like that's a different kind of like sci-fi cliche that they were going for with them. Okay, so now that we're done with all of this, now we can actually go through and we can start. I'm going to be going in with a very small small, hard brush. And I'm going to be wearing away at the edges here. And I'm going to bring up this here on the other monitors, that way I can kind of look at the patterns in which they wore away over here. Small, hard brush sounds like something Stormy Daniels would say. She's probably messed around with some small, hard brushes before. So, for the sake of this, this is something that I usually wouldn't recommend, is going through and trying to fill in these details exactly by yourself, like with being deliberate the way I am, because it doesn't, like, a lot of times you can lose a lot of the element of like random natural wear and tear. You lose that whenever you try to do it by hand, and it's usually more recommended to use like filters or textures or something procedural that is like somewhat out of your control, though you can usually still define the parameters to some degree, so that way there you still retain that element of random. But I don't have any brushes that really mimic the exact style of wear and tear that's on the Brotherhood of Steel armor or the Outcast armor in Fallout 3. So I'm gonna try to do this and hopefully not have too much of a problem. Yeah, I don't know about that kind of thing. Noctium. The tell-all books, they've been in, like, I've heard people talking about them for a while, but if anything, I would probably assume it's because it's the holiday season. I really don't want to do this by hand because this is, like, you can see what I'm doing right now, and it's slow, it's tedious. But sometimes it's what you gotta do. I might be able to, hold on, let me go ahead and increase the size of this, right? That will increase the hardness of it. And now let's get rid of the position jitter because I want it to be exactly where I place it. Fuck, it's too big. Like it's fading out at the edges, unfortunately, which that's causing a bit of an issue. Let's go to default hard. Let's see what some of the alphas that we have are. Because this is also something that I would often use. Yeah, something like that actually is... Fuck, it's actually really similar to like what I'm trying to pull off here. Will you be streaming for much longer? Actually, probably not. I'm probably going to be getting off here in anywhere from like 10 to 30 minutes. It kind of just depends on how I feel. If you were to combine two factions together, which would they be? The Brotherhood of Steel and the Children of Adam. Just these, like...
They would hate each other, but they would be part of the same faction.
No, you combine them, so they're just one faction now. Like, story be damned. Like, it's just a faction that combines the best elements of both factions. So, like, it would just be these crazy, insane motherfuckers shooting at you with radiation guns, but they're also in power armor, so fuck you.
So what else? Honestly, can we just have a combination of, like, all of the powers in the Mojave that keep fighting each other instead of uniting to get rid of tyranny? They all live in their own little separate bunkers. When, if they worked together, they could get the NCR.
You're forgetting. You're forgetting. Like you're combining them, but it's a new faction. Like they don't have previous history. Like it's just like combining the elements of the faction together to create a new one. Like you're not like forcing a truce between like the president of the NCR and Elder McNamara or anything.
Okay. The Republic of Dave, but it's the size of Megaton.
That's not even combining a faction.
And you're just like walking around Megaton, and there's 500 kids running around going, "Hey, what's up? I'm President Daddy's kid."
I forgot about that shit.
The Republic of Dave is literally like one family.
It's basically a Mormon settlement, isn't it?
I don't know about that. I want to take the Republic of Dave and morph it with every faction and see what happens.
Nothing.
Because you can.
That's like fusing Yamcha with anything in Dragon Ball Z.
You can persuade yourself into being the president of the Republic of Dave.
Dukov and Rivet City. These aren't.
Yeah.
These aren't factions. What you're saying is just Dukov running around sexually harassing everybody in Rivet City.
You walk into Rivet City and 7 Dukovs greet you.
And they're all saying the
same line.
The balls slapping against Cherry's ass line.
Mm-hmm.
Which is still one of the best lines in any video game ever, in my opinion.
Yeah.
NCR and Riley's Rangers. I don't really know enough about like the personality of Riley's Rangers to say one like good or bad things about them. Because I actually never encountered them in any of my playthroughs.
Preston and the Institute. Another settlement needs our help.
Another synth needs
And
our... Wait, we don't have synths?
He fucking cocks his laser musket and he's like...
I thought you said cucks.
Cucks.
He cucks his laser musket.
Yeah, he goes in, he cocks his laser musket and he's like, another settlement needs our help. Dying.
The Think Tank and Mr. Fantastic. That's, I mean, that sounds like it. That actually sounds kind of cool. Because I think Mr. Fantastic actually has gone insane like a couple of times. Like I think there's like actually an evil version of him that is a villain in the current universe.
People joke about that so much in spoof media as well, like the Venture Brothers.
Yeah. Like him and Professor Xavier have kids that are the two most powerful entities in Marvel. Presumably they're stronger than, quote, one above all, which is Marvel's way of getting around the comic book code of saying God. No, Xavier and Mr. Fantastic did not marry. Xavier has a kid who I can't remember what his actual name is, but his mutant name is Legion. They made a TV show about him and everything. He's like super
Very
insane.
quirky, hard to follow TV show.
It is, yeah. But that's also like part of the point of the TV show too.
Yeah. Aubrey Plaza in it, and she's mad hot. So
apparently she's got like a sex scene in it. that
I believe it.
we didn't watch because we only watched until.
There's a reason why he hallucinates her, and it kind of touched upon that. It hinted at the fact that there's a reason why he sees her,
Yeah.
but it didn't tell us why.
Well, like we watched up until they escaped the place, and apparently the episode after that is Aubrey Plaza has like a naked sex scene or something like that in it.
I wonder if it's on Hulu.
Anyway, so fucking Legion is one of the most powerful characters in the Marvel Universe, and then Mr. Fantastic has a kid who, for some reason, is essentially God in the Marvel Universe right now. I can't remember what the kid's name is. It's weird. I can't say that I personally like the idea.
Oh yeah, they do have Legion.
And it's an interesting choice to have, like, the first family be such important characters, like with a kid that could be God, when they like had a weird boycott kind of thing going on, because of all of the shitty publicity that the Fantastic Four was getting from bad movies. And so they started to kind of push them out of comic books in general, to the point that, like, sometime within the last year, they were like, the Fantastic Four are back. Like, even Marvel was like, yeah, we've been kind of just shitting on them because of the movies. Some people saying that Mama Murphy was the person who took your kid. What? I haven't heard that.
Wait, what?
I mean, it was Kellogg that took your kid. Right? It shows them like that was a thing that happened, was Kellogg taking your kid.
It shows a person in institute clothing taking your child.
No, but Kellogg's there.
Yeah. I actually watched this scene earlier because somebody made a video that was like, what happens if you kill Kellogg during the opening scene?
I mean, I would assume nothing.
Interestingly, his body dies, but a gunshot is still heard, and Nora or Nate still dies. And the woman from the Institute takes the baby regardless of how the scene plays out, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But if you disable Kellogg entirely, the shot never happens.
Interesting.
However, once more, if you disable both of them, Nora goes... They used Nora. Nora goes through the animation, but doesn't... Like, whenever it's over, she just kind of stands there.
So, they actually brought up that, like, yeah, Kellogg was accompanied by a female institute scientist.
I think Mama Murphy asks for Jet too much to be an institute scientist.
Maybe that's why she was kicked out of the institute.
Oh no, Fallout 4 Deep Lore.
We need to get Vati Video on it.
Who the fuck is that?
He makes lore videos for Dark Souls.
Oh.
The better ones, depending on who you ask.
I'm sorry I keep burping. That probably grosses out a lot of people, but I have stomach problems.
Hey, what's up, Fortnite 99?
Facebook updated and now it has a create button.
What does that mean?
I don't know. I just checked and I have a create button on my Facebook toolbar now. Well, you know, on the site, I don't have a Facebook toolbar.
Yeah, actually, I think the guys in the chat are right. I think it was actually Easy Pete that took your kid.
Oh my gosh, that explains so much. He was armed to the teeth with dynamite.
He wanted to make sure that this kid would never have to worry about using dynamite.
He took your kid to the old Good Springs schoolhouse, and that's where the real Sean is.
Yeah. And that kid isn't actually Sean. That kid was Obama.
Whoa. And then the whole bunch started clapping.
All of Vault 101 started clapping.
Mr. Broch turns off the projector. Movie night has concluded.
Yeah, I forgot that was even a character.
All of Fallout 3, all of Fallout 3, all of Fallout 4, and all of Fallout New Vegas were just a movie that you watch in Vault 101. But that's just the theory.
A game theory.
I love the game 3, guys.
No, I didn't join Rad Posting. I totally forgot about that. Thank you for reminding me.
Whose wife is hot?
His wife is hot.
Easy Pete's?
I have no idea.
Oh,
Fuck
the game theory.
Oh.
Pat.
I've never seen his wife, so I don't know. I've seen Austin's wife. I'm friends with her on Facebook. It's really weird to think about. Is Sergeant Dornan the character from Fallout 2 that's got like the very like typical drill sergeant kind of like personality and attitude? If not, then I don't know who Sergeant Dornan is, because I still haven't finished Fallout 2. I got stuck in the Enclave place. I forgot what it's called. Navarro, I think, and I couldn't leave. But I was too low level.
I'm looking at a clickbait video called Top 10 Elder Scrolls Quests You Never Found. So,
I really hope that I've found all of them.
I should save this for later. I saw a unicorn in the thumbnail. I'm pretty sure everybody knows about the unicorn. It's in like Oblivion.
It's not even a quest.
You can just like find the unicorn running around, right?
Yeah.
And you can ride him, but you can't keep him.
Yeah, he'll run away whenever you get off of him.
Where is your power armor?
Oh, that guy. Yeah, okay, so yeah, I do know who Sergeant Dornan is. He, if you think about it, he kind of helped bring down the Enclave by not recognizing that you were not a member of the Enclave.
To be fair though, like, since when do random civilians just show up on y'all place base?
That's fair.
You want your burger?
That is true. Fallout 76 is pretty much the Fallout Bethesda wanted to create, without all that pesky lore.
Yeah.
Yes, I do, actually.
Are you telling? Do you want it warmed up?
Yeah.
Probably.
I said no. No.
You guys ever eat a cold hamburger before? Cause he's about to.
I like a lot of foods cold. Like the sandwiches I make at work, I feel like they taste way better cold.
I feel like you disgust me, like on a.
Oh shit, it's Clarky.
What?
Kayla says hi, Clarky. What's up, man?
I said what, but then I meant to say hi.
If you had to choose a Fallout companion as a romantic partner, who would it be? That one's kind of tough for me, because my favorite companion is female, but she's gay. So I'm kind of fucked in that situation. Because my favorite companion in all of Fallout is actually Christine from Dead Money. I like how you're actually going out of your way to find different pictures of Toad to post every single time.
I don't know, man. I like a lot. I like the weird followers.
What she means by that is Sharon.
No, wait. I also like Butch, even though he beat me up. That's probably my victim complex.
Fuck.
It's fine. He beat me up a lot, but I'd still tap that. No, but I like Butch. I like Sharon. They would both probably kill me. I also like Hancock a lot. And I like McCready. I don't know, it's hard for me to pick because there's a lot of characters that I like on a personal kind of level.
The grandma super mutant from New Vegas.
Lily?
Yeah.
Lily Bowman.
Yeah.
You would fuck her.
Absolutely. I mean, she would fuck me.
Oh.
Clarky says Curie. See, that was my first thought was Curie.
She's pretty cute.
But you would at least have to advance the quest far enough for her to be a synth, right? Because otherwise you're romancing a Miss Nanny.
Yep.
Which, I mean, could be interesting. I'm not going to knock it, but...
Hey, have you ever heard of an asexual relationship in your life?
You can have sex with a Miss Nanny. You just... I'm surprised nobody said Mr. Fisto.
His name is just Fisto.
Whatever. Miss Nanny giving a handy, though.
What if a Mr. Handy gave you a handy, but he used to play salt?
Then it wouldn't be a handy. It would be assault. That is true. Somebody actually did marry a Miss Nanny in Fallout 4. I forgot about that.
Yep.
Unoctium says that he would go for Willow.
Yeah?
That's cheating.
That is.
Yes, sir. It is Substance Painter. Sergeant. Sorry if I get quiet. I'm
Very disgustingly eating a hamburger.
I am eating. The cowboy ghoul is best girl. Oh shit! I also forgot about Sharon. Not be
Rose.
yeah.
Sharon Cassie.
Yeah. Isn't that like not even her name?
No, it is.
I thought Sharon Cassie was like actually her dad's name.
Her name, because he's an asshole, is Rose of Sharon Cassidy.
Oh, does she actually talk about that? I can't remember. Like, I know I've advanced her quest pretty far before, but it was a long time ago.
She goes by Cass.
Are you gonna put an enclave symbol on it? You know what? I might like I might
Dude,
hollow out.
You know what? I've chosen my ultimate Fallout waifu. Rex the Ghoul.
Grex?
Look him up.
Grex the Ghoul? Is this safe for work?
G-R-E.
Is this safe for work?
C-K-S. Yeah.
Okay. I have to make sure none of my porn shows up, so hold on. Wait, does James have Substance Painter? I remember he has I remember him talking to me about Substance
Your computer
Painter.
is like actually actively trying to die right now. Look, I'm just gonna look it up for you. No, CKS. Not X.
Say it one more time.
G-R-E-C-K-S. Ghoul.
I mean, ghouls can still have their peepees. It is likely that they would fall off, but not necessarily a fact that they would fall off.
Click it.
Just like, I want to say that super mutants could technically have penises. They're just sterile.
It's like a Kindle.
I don't know if they've actually said that it's like
It's
that.
like a vagina without the fun parts. It's a hole.
So then it's not like a vagina. Who the fuck is... What? No one trash talks the eye. I have never met Grex before. That's interesting.
You have to do... He's in the debt collector quest.
Yeah, I can't remember if super mutants like lack genitals entirely or not. Kayla, who, for the most part, is usually way more knowledgeable on Fallout than I am, says that they lack them entirely.
But that's as of the Fallout 3 lore. I don't know about,
You don't know about Fallout 1 or 2 super mutant PPs?
Yeah.
Man, like, why do they even exist then? Why would they want to exist?
Are you telling me that you couldn't exist if you couldn't rub one out every once in a while?
Yes, I'm actually going to be putting a power... That's actually a good point. I don't really want to put it on the shoulders because there's not really... You know what? Actually, there is. I can put it, like, right here. I'll get there in a second, though, but I do actually have, like, a preset symbol for the, outcast symbol somewhere. I think. Yeah, oh, wait. No, that's the Brotherhood of Steel logo. Where's the Outcast one? I know I have an Outcast stamp. There it is. So yeah, I'll probably put it on the shoulders. A recurrent theme of discussion in a Marvel shitposting group is if Hulk has a penis or not. Well, yeah, he does. He has kids, and
Old Man Logan.
Oh, Old Man Logan. He used that penis to penetrate his cousin.
Him and She-Hulk have those incest babies. Cousin fuckers, they call them.
Now, Vision, he can choose to have a penis or not. That's kind of up to him. He can just kind of think a penis into existence. I mean, it's basically Schrodinger's penis. It does not exist until observed.
So, like, do you think Dr. Manhattan could, like, make it so people couldn't see his penis, but he chooses to have it out all the time anyway?
Yeah. Dude, Thanos fucked his shit up. Vision.
Oh.
Fucking pulled the Mind Stone out of his forehead. I feel like it's been long enough that I don't think a spoiler warning is necessary. Just like if we wanted to, we could talk about how shitty The Last Jedi is.
I like our deep conversations.
LOL Schrodinger's knob. What the fuck has this stream become? No, I haven't seen the Red Letter Media review of it yet. I actually don't really watch Red Letter Media. I haven't tried to, so I have no opinion on them one way or the other. I've heard a lot about them, though. I remember some guy was trying to, like, get me to watch a review of, like, the prequel movies from this guy that was just, like, he talks so slow and boring, even though he has, like, really good opinions and shit on why, like, what the prequels did good and horribly. Yeah, I could see that. Clarky has not watched any of the new Star Wars. Interesting.
Oh, hey. I saw an ad for something today. They announced a new themed Switch. You know, they have the Mario one, if I remember correctly. They came out with Odyssey.
I think they have a Zelda one, too.
Well, now they have a Pokemon one.
Oh,
It's
is it
a
an
Pikachu
Eevee and
and
Pikachu?
Eevee themed one, and it's really cute.
Oh, is it just like they're both in one?
Yeah, they're both on the dock. Like there's a picture of Pikachu and Eevee on the dock, and then the actual back of the Switch has like silhouettes of them like over and over again on it. I want to say the handles are brown.
Clarky said he's buying it.
I want it too. I wonder if we could pre-order one.
Maybe. Thanks, Concept Bro. Thank you for joining in today as like you did the other day. I really appreciate it, and I'll talk to you later.
Oh, and also... Oh, wait, okay, he said that on both platforms. I was like, also goodbye to the other guy. Wait, it's the same guy.
Yeah, I really don't like the character development or lack thereof in The Last Jedi. It was pointless. Like, I don't hate Luke as much as a lot of people, a lot of other Star Wars fans do. Like, he did some things that I kind of thought were like a little bit too on the quirky side. That I feel like wasn't entirely necessary, but otherwise, like I can understand why his character left. Like I can understand his character's reasoning there. I don't understand why he would try to kill anybody in their sleep, or even think about it for a fleeting second.
Rocket.
That doesn't seem like Luke, but I can see Luke like bearing everything on his shoulders and then deciding that it's better for him to be gone. Ash is a moron. Interesting. He is a moron. But he is also 10 years old.
Who among us was not a moron at 10 years old?
Let he
Actually,
who was
he's
not
11.
a moron.
He's 11 because canonically he's had one birthday.
Did he? Was it in Sun and Moon?
It was in a movie. It was the third movie.
Did he have a birthday then? Because the third one was the Entei movie.
It was the little short before that, actually. Now that I'm taking it back.
The Pichu
I
special?
think his birthday is the day that he went to go get Pikachu. So the Pikachu and Pichu short has Ash saying, "It's the 1-year anniversary of the day we met." So,
Huh.
that's also Ash's birthday, if I recall correctly.
See you, Julian. Wait, unless somebody else said bye. Noctian kind of spammed it and I wasn't paying attention, so I didn't see if anybody else said goodbye. But whoever you were, thank you for watching.
Hang on. Here, I've kind of brought it up. So it's... Actually, that looks more yellow. Oh, wait. Okay, this one's yellow and
Yeah,
that
one's
one's
yellow,
brown.
one's brown.
Okay, I
That
didn't
looks
pick
cute.
up
I like
that
it. That's a
earlier.
surprisingly good color combination.
And the back is black with pictures of Pikachu, Eevee. There's a few other Pokemon, it looks like. Oh wait, no, it's upside down Eevees. I was like, what the fuck? It's pretty cute. I'm a fan.
Actually, I think it's probably about time for me to go ahead and say goodbye for now. Oh, Clarky says Ash's birthday is May 22nd, if I remember correctly.
Thank you, Clark. You are an oasis of Pokemon information.
Anyway, I'm wanting to actually watch shit on TV or Netflix and Hulu before I go to bed and get ready for work tomorrow. So, I'm probably going to go ahead and jump off for the night. It has been a blast as usual, and next time I stream, I'm probably going to be sticking to just doing the power armor. For now, it's a little bit more pressing to me than the Citadel is, but I will, of course, continue the Citadel later on. But thank you all for tuning in while you did. I love you all, and goodbye. I will join rad posting.